Guys, so I was finally able to catch up on all my movies from 2018, and so I'm finally ready to tell you guys my picks for the top 5 movies of 2018. Before I start, I really want to say that it was a fantastic year at the movies. There was a lot of really awesome content. This was the year of the writers. All the 3 Khan movies this year flopped because they were god awful, and they deserve to. And I'm so glad that the movies that were actually good, with actors who actually know how to act, those are the ones that did well. Those are the ones that even made money. Bollywood is changing, and I'm extremely happy to be witnessing this transformation. On number 5, I have Love Per Square Foot, directed by Anand Tiwari, written by Anand Tiwari and Sumit Vyas. Starring my fave of the year, Vicky Kaushal and Angita Dar. So the movie was a Netflix original, and I think it did pretty well in terms of views and numbers. So the movie's about 2 youngsters who are working class who dream of owning a home in Mumbai, which according to my mom is a very difficult dream to have because Mumbai is not only overcrowded but also overpriced. So because they share the same dream, they don't necessarily love each other or are dating each other, but they decide to come together and buy a home together. So obviously it's a love story, and very much so it is a proper rom-com. Bollywood sometimes doesn't know how to do rom-coms. They either go too emotional or they just get too like forward and too Western. But I think Love Per Square Foot is the perfect, you know, Indian Bollywood rom-com. Obviously, Vicky Kaushal did a great job acting. He was super duper cute in the movie. Angita was also really sweet in the movie. She definitely left her impression. I haven't seen anything else that she was in, so I hope she does get offered movies because she did a great job in the movie, I think. Raghuveer Yadav as Vicky's dad and Supriya Pathak as Angita's mom were really cute. They weren't the main characters, but I think they kind of stood out in their own way. Overall, the movie was really cute. It looked really fresh. You know, any movie about Mumbai, I'm like sold immediately, but it looked really, really nice. Just like visually, like the cinematography just looked very fresh. Like Mumbai just looked very new. It was a really cute movie, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. I think you should see it. It's a good watch, and I know it's not like a typical Bollywood mainstream movie, but it definitely deserves to be on my top 5. Number 4 is a tie between Stree and Badhai. Both of these were really small budget films, but they basically made a big bang at the box office. They both made a lot of money. They were running for a really long time in the theaters. I think they both deserve praise. I mean, Stree was a horror comedy, and Badhai was a movie about an older couple that gets pregnant and is basically very embarrassed for themselves, and their kids are embarrassed, and the grandma's embarrassed. It was directed by Amar Kaushik and written by Rajnidhi Moru, Krishna D.K. and Sumit Arora. I have reviewed Stree, and so I basically gave it all the praise that I wanted to at the time. It was just a very smartly made film, a smartly written film. It was like spooky, but it was really funny, and Pankaj Tripathi is just like the best. He has the best comic timing ever. Rajkumar Rao is just so funny to me. He has this like bumbling kind of like he just like completely floored me. And I also really appreciated like that, you know, like kind of feminist vibe that it had, but like enveloping it into the comedy aspect of the movie. It was just I think it was a very smartly made movie. I really appreciated it, and I really, really liked it. Badhai was directed by Amit Sharma and written by Shantanu Srivastava, Akshat Gildial, and Jyoti Kapoor. The movie stars Ayushmann Khurrana, who is just the greatest, Neena Gupta, Gajraj Rao, Sanya Malhotra, and Surekha Sikri. What an awesome star cast. The movie was honestly really, really cute, and I really liked how, even though it's kind of like about a taboo topic, it's such like a desi, like Indian family movie at heart. It's kind of weird because on the one hand, it's kind of an awkward movie that you like wouldn't want to watch with your parents, but you kind of would because it's about family and it's about loving your parents and you know, it's about siblings and relationships. I really appreciate that this movie exists, you know. Yeah, so Stree and Badhaiho are tied for the number 4 slot, and I think both of them deserve all the praise in the world. For number 3, my pick is Man Marziyan, which is directed by Anurag Kashyap, written by Kanika Dhillon, starring Abhishek Bachchan, Taapsee Pannu, and Vicky Kaushal. This movie was friggin' awesome. It's definitely a serious movie about relationships, about how people work, about, you know, passion and desire, but also marriage means, what relationships mean, what commitment means. It's honestly such a great movie. It's a love triangle between, you know, like Abhishek and Taapsee and Vicky. It's interesting because it's not like Vicky doesn't love Rumi. I find it funny how Vicky, like the character's name is also Vicky. It's not that Vicky doesn't love Rumi. He loves her like crazy. They're just a house on fire. They're just like, ooh. And you know, it's great to see that. Like, it's great to see their passionate love, but he's just not the man who's ready for marriage, who's ready for commitment. Like, he's just not stable. It's not that he doesn't love her. It's not that he doesn't want to take care of her or anything like that, but he's just not that guy. It's very well written by Kanika. It feels very relevant, very this generation. And the music by Amit Trivedi is like amazing. I love the whole album. I've said that like a million times. Vicky Kaushal and Taapsee Pannu were on another level of acting in this movie. They were so good. He's freaking crazy, but like you love him, and it's like you want Taapsee and him to end up together, but it's like, bro, it's not happening. Because it's like, you're a mess. You're a mess. Totally watch Man Marziyan. Do yourself a favor. Great movie. Real stuff. Real stuff. Anurag Kashyap, really great job directing. And you see that Anand L. Rai produced it, so you kind of get like that Anand L. Rai touch in there too. My pick for number 2, to be honest, I'm even surprised at myself, is Manto. I really liked the movie. I was highly impressed with the movie. I had the impression that it was kind of like an artsy type of movie, and I thought like, oh, like the acting is probably nice. A good movie to watch as like a cinema lover, but it was actually like a very good movie to watch. I honestly really enjoyed watching it. It's written and directed by Nandita Das, starring Nawazuddin Siddiqui and Rasika Dugal. It's about short story writer Sadat Hassan Manto. It's kind of like a biopic. I'm so shocked that I never even heard of him. I had no idea who he was, but I'm very much intrigued about his life and him now and his work. I was highly impressed with the way that the film kind of progressed and the way that the story develops. There's like a seamless weave between fact and fiction in the movie, because he is a fiction writer. Kudos to Nandita Das for directing this movie. Like, it's so good, and she wrote it too. Like, you see him and you see his life and you see how he's developing as a person, and then you also see his work and kind of how like the two are influencing each other. And in the movie, it just kind of, you know, like comes in and out, like it weaves in and out. It's so good. I really think you should watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. I mean, yeah, like it's not like a typical entertaining movie, blah, blah, blah. It's not like whatever. It's not typical Bollywood, but it's definitely worth a watch. It's a really good movie. I really liked it. It's so interesting because Manto lived in Mumbai, and then after the partition, after things got a little like rough, he moved to Lahore, and you know, he was fine there as well, but he kind of like missed Mumbai. You always like miss your roots, and I like how that's like an element in the movie. I like how it's about his life and stuff, and about art and what does art mean, and censorship. The partition is something that I think India and Pakistan, sometimes we kind of just like use it as an excuse to kind of point fingers. Like, who knows what's right and wrong? Like, who knows, you know? But people lived through it, if that makes sense. But yeah, Manto, really great movie. Highly impressed. And I think it deserves to be in the second spot for me. For me, I think it deserves to be here. I want to say right off the bat, number 1 is not Andhadhun. Okay, I know Andhadhun like did so well, and I think for a lot of movie critics, it was like their top movie. But I don't know why. Like, I did not like it as much as the rest of the world. I thought it was a good movie, very good movie. I think Sriram Raghavan is amazing. I love Badlapur. I love Ek Hasina Thi, which came out like way back then. Thrillers are my favorite genre of movies, of books, just everything. TV shows, everything. It is kind of like black humor and kind of a thriller at the same time. But I just didn't love it as much as the rest of the world. I was a little underwhelmed with it. That was my reaction to it. I'm not saying it's a bad movie, and I'm not saying that other people are crazy. It wasn't one of my faves. I also want to give a shout out to movies that I think are worth a watch, but aren't necessarily top 5 material. First is Laila Majnu. I really liked the movie. I was highly impressed with the lead actor. He did such a good job. That performance of his was amazing. I was very impressed. I also want to give a shout out to the movie 3 Stories, which, as you can tell, is basically 3, you know, like short stories in the movie, but they're connected. They were really interesting stories. They had really good twists. I really think it's worth a watch. I also really like the movie Mulk. There's a lot of Islamophobia, and especially in India nowadays, I don't think that Hindus or Muslims or any religion should get offended by this movie at all. I think it was made very well, very maturely. And the last movie I want to talk about is Mitro. It wasn't like a fantastic movie or a great movie, but it was a really like chill watch. Like sometimes you just want to watch a chill movie. Like it doesn't have to be the greatest movie, but you just want to watch a chill movie. And like it was funny, it was cute, kind of like girl meets boy. It was a cute movie. I think it's worth a watch. If you're bored, I think it's like the perfect movie to watch. My pick for number 1 is Razi. In my humble opinion, Razi was the only movie that when I saw it in the theater, I was highly impressed by what I was watching. Meghna Gulzar did such a great job in this movie. Alia Bhatt did a good job acting. It's not my favorite role of hers, but she did a good job acting. And Vicky Kaushal, I like totally fell in love with him in this movie because he's just so sweet. He's so sweet. Based on a true story of a girl who was recruited by India, married into a military family in Pakistan for the purpose of spying and getting intel. I hate when they make movies about like India and Pakistan, which basically are just like pointing fingers. I think this movie did a great job of pointing out that India and Pakistan are on opposite sides of the border. They're in opposition to each other, but they're not enemies. You know, like they're not each other's nemesis, although I think the governments or maybe some people feel like that. But I think the movie makes you realize like everybody needs to take a chill pill because these are people's lives at stake. Obviously, the country that you're from, you're going to have loyalty to it. I just liked how the movie really humanized all the characters. You know, like nobody was a stereotypical, you know, like black and white. Like everybody has shades of gray. It was a great movie to watch. I really liked it. I really enjoyed watching it. I was really impressed with it. There were a lot of good movies, but Razi really stood out to me, which is why it's my pick for number 1. Those were my top 5 Bollywood movies of 2018. What were your picks for the top 5 movies of 2018? Please let me know in the comments. And don't forget to like this video and please subscribe to my channel, Movies with Meher.